Well, Amius is back, but this time I've got a secret weapon. Hello, everyone. Bront CatHerder here, and we're having fun talking Raid Shadow Legends. And we're at my favorite boss. Can you tell the sarcasm? My favorite boss in all of Raid, Amius. Now, I do not like Amius, as you may have seen in the last video. Amius and I had a long and torturous several-hour relationship before I finally kicked him out of town. But he doesn't learn. He's back. Good news is, this rotation, I've got a secret weapon. Let's go take a look. So we're here on Amius, and I've cleared out my roster so we can pick who we're going to work with against this. Now, I have a secret weapon against Amius that helps a lot. But first, let's just go over some of the champions that we're going to look for. Definitely looking for a reviver or two to keep me alive. That helps quite a bit. I really like Raglan for this. Raglan has a turn meter boost on the A1, has a 4-turn cooldown cleanse and chunky heal, and a 2-turn cooldown revive. So the revive is almost always up, even if it is just a 1-turn cooldown. I also like some passive heals. So champions like Elva are great. Scylla the Drakes works just fine. In fact, I'm going to take Scylla the Drakes right here because she's the one that's available. If you've got a Siphi can be very helpful as well. If you don't have some of the higher end ones, champions like Doom Priest certainly can do fairly well. Passive heals are great. They give you a lot of flexibility to be able to constantly heal your team when somebody is taking a turn and just keep you upright. I am going to use Ninja. Don't cancel me. Don't cancel me. That's not my secret weapon. I understand a lot of you guys do not have Ninja, and I will do a team of this without Ninja. But my Ninja is a +3 Ninja with a 6-star blessing, built with enough accuracy to be able to take Amius. So there's no reason for me not to do it, at least for one run if I'm looking for speed. Otherwise, I like getting burns on him as well. Drang is a tanky champion. He has an irresistible burn, makes it great. He can ignite burns as well, which means he can do additional damage. And he's got the HP balance, so he gives additional healing options as well, which is great for the boss. But finally, the secret weapon, Harima. Why is Harima the secret weapon? Let's go take a look at her kit. All right, so Harima is a great champion. Probably a lot of you guys do know that she's a great champion, but let's go over a little bit why. She hits really, really hard. She has an A1 that can decrease attack. That's not super important, particularly if I'm doing it for Arena. You'll notice I haven't even finished fully booking this out because for Arena, I tend to not want this to land. And on Amius, I don't think I want this to land a lot either because you can turn this decrease attack into an increase attack. So I don't have a lot of accuracy on my Harima either, so that shouldn't be a problem. The A2 is a 3-hitter that not only hits hard, but she basically decreases the enemy's defense by 5%, stacks up to 30%. Keep in mind that this does not stack with cruelty. So if you have cruelty, the maximum 30% is still in play, but this is effective against bosses as well. So that's 30% less defense, which is a good extra defense that you could be ignoring on other champions that aren't ignoring all that defense. But it also increases her defense by 5%, stacks up to 100%. And that's off of her total defense in battle. So she can double her defense through the course of a long battle. So she can be super tanky in PvE content, which can last quite a while. It also helps for PvP content as she ramps up her damage as well. But in PvE, you're going to get to that 100% if the fight goes long enough. It's absolutely great. She also activates her A3 AoE if she kills the target with the skill. Not going to be an issue with Amius, but can be very good for like attacking some of the spiderlings in different spiders in Doom Tower, for example. All kinds of useful ways to use this skill. It's great. It's particularly great in PvP where you can kill one champion and then kill everyone else as well while decreasing their defense. And she gets 15% defense from each hit from there and then does her AoE afterwards. So it's a great combination. Again, as I mentioned, this is an AoE. It places a provoke for 1 turn, although that's really not the important part of this skill. It is nice, however, that this cannot be blocked or resisted if the champion is from the Demon Spawn faction. So that means block debuffs doesn't block it. That means that they're not immune to it. It can't be resisted, so she doesn't need accuracy against Demon Spawn. So she's a good counter against your Duchesses, your Candies, your Anithwees. She's very good for that. But what makes her great against Amius, what makes her great in general, but what makes her great against Amius is this passive. Enemy ignore defense defects are decreased by 50%. Amius has a skill that can one-shot a large number of your champions by ignoring 100% of your defense. So the fact that she can cut that ignore defense in half decreases the amount of damage that that hit does by enough that most of the time that attack does not kill a champion. And because it doesn't kill a champion, she ends up not sleeping everyone else or stunning everyone else. He doesn't take a bunch of extra turns, and he takes the one shot, he's done, and you get all your turns back. So it's very much easier to do. You can bring less healing if you don't need all the healing. You can bring less revives if you don't feel you need the revives. So, along with a lot of damage and the ability to reduce defense permanently, she prevents some of the ignored defense shenanigans, which makes her an absolute beast against Amius. So, let's take a look at my team. I'm going to run through this team and I will cut in when we're getting close to the end and you can see how little time it takes. And then we'll talk about alternatives to Ninja in this team comp. All right, so we're down to about 2/3 of the HP down, and let's go take a look. I've got Ninja here, and he just does a ton of damage. I think we can actually do this. Drang's Ignite the Burns help as well. Ninja gets his multiple burns back really quickly, which will help, and I think this might be it. Maybe not. Because you can't kill him on that other form, he gets reset, and we got to start over again. So we'll get back to this in just a minute. This is not looking particularly good. Let's see if Ninja can pull this out. Not quite. And actually he will. Look at this. We're going to actually get this. There we go. So 5 minutes in, a fake out. I actually lost almost everybody despite having Harima. And you'll look here that Ninja did almost all of the damage. Now, Harima can hit really hard, does a lot of damage. This is probably not the best scenario for Harima from that end, but the protection that she brings is absolutely amazing. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about champions that you can use instead of Ninja. And specifically, I've used him last time, but Rathalos is still an option. And we'll have burns from our Drang here, so he'll get additional damage from the burns. We've got the ignore defense, so he should be a little bit tankier, plus the burns will make him a little tankier as well. We still have some ceiling. So let me try this run and see how this goes, and I'll be right back with you. All right, well, that one did not go quite as planned. My Syl and my Raglan are not quite keeping up with them at this point. I certainly could redo this. I suspect if I try this a couple times, Rathalos will do fairly well. You notice that Rathalos was doing a ton of damage, Drang was doing some damage, Harima is still doing some damage, and her damage kept on creeping up as she was doing her A2. So we can look at other teams as well, and maybe it's just a matter of rebuilding a couple of these champions or flipping through them and getting something else done. All right, well, that didn't look like it was working particularly well as well. So, oh, and I don't have my artifacts on Contra, so that is probably part of the problem. She was helping a little bit. She did get a block healing a little bit, so we got a little more damage going, and it did help. But it's frustrating. Bringing tanky champions are good. I could certainly bring like my Narcissus, for example. He'll do just some straight damage, but he's super tanky, so that's helpful. I could bring other healers. Ancora is not a good champion to bring. I would not advise bringing in Ancora. Again, we talked about Mikage. I could certainly swap in Mikage and see how that works. In fact, that's certainly not an option. Maybe we'll try Mikage and see how that works. All right. Well, Mikage's actually been super helpful, but it's been problematic because I lost one of my revivers. So let's try swapping out Tio and see if, or maybe even swapping out Syl and going for a different healer reviver and see if we can do a little bit better here. Well, let's go back to the Raglan because Raglan had the cleanse as well, and that was helpful. And I think the double cleanse between what Lady Mikage's got and Raglan may actually help bring this over the top because we were doing a decent amount of damage with just the folks that we had. So let's go. All right, and this is what I've been finding is cool with Mikage. If she gets stunned or sleeped, she'll transform. And if she's got the silk sense, she'll actually get rid of all the stuns and sleeps on the rest of the team. So I don't lose out on some of the turns I was otherwise losing out on, which is making Mikage pretty interesting too. So Mikage and Harima, definitely recommend for this. Oh, we're past the halfway point here. 6 minutes in. It's been fairly stable, not been quick. So hopefully we can actually get a little bit of a burst to get him down. But let's keep going. All right, we're down to the last 25%, although he's going to change soon and then he heals. So let's see if we can work this out. We're almost 12 minutes into this run. It's got hope. Let's wait and see. And we killed him too early. All right, we got him low. He should be changing back shortly. This may be it. Don't want to do that because that's a big hitter. She's starting to really smack now. Alrighty, change back. We're under 25%. We got some counterattacks as well. That is awesome. We can get this big smash, hopefully. Change you out. And ally attack. Some extra damage. Not going to get the burns out soon, but we got a shot. I think we can actually do this. All right, so I want the A1 because I need to get the turn meter boost because I want as many turns as possible. That was really good, and I think we got it here. No, that's not the ally attack because it's not. But I think if we get Drang, oh, we might be good. Look at this. That burn is going to be it because he's going to die when his turn starts. Yeah, Fraglin doesn't kill him there. So look at that. Obviously, a lot more work involved, a little more RNG, but Lady Mikage coming in absolutely crutch. Again, Harima doing a lot of damage, as I mentioned before. Drang, but you could probably substitute a lot of other burners. Drang is just great because Drang is irresistible. It ignites his own burns and brings the HP balance, which actually helps with the healing. And then 2 healers to just basically keep me upright was very helpful because Syl did die at one point in time and Rackley did have to pick Syl back up. So here's a couple of ideas for you. Again, Harima, though, is the secret weapon against Amius. If you can bring your Harima in, it makes it so much easier because not only is she a defense champ, so she's a little tankier in general, but the ignored defense 50% reduction means that that instant kill is not always an instant kill, which means your champions stay upright just a bit more, which means he doesn't take a bunch of extra attacks, and it prevents it from going down a very bad path very quickly. So, until next time, I'm Bront CatHerder.